welcome to another edition of Whipsarecracking's Racing Review Show. I'm your host, Arvo Demergen, and before we get started on our CAULFIELD Cup review, it's my pleasure to introduce you Suman Hedge, Bloodstock Manager for Iskander Racing.
Morning.
And on my right we have Matthew Zammit, our respected form analyst.
Morning.
Now, yesterday's running of the race, I guess, threw up a bit of a surprise for us Australian punters, really. And I guess some prides were dented also, but I'll let Matthew start off on this.
Yeah, okay. All the good. Darley finally annexing one of our major races that they've tried for many years, so I suppose from the point of view that they've contributed a major investment into our racing, it's good to see them get up and get some reward for their effort. Look, I guess from the point of view of certainly the CAULFIELD Cup's main point of view for us is certainly its reference to the Melbourne Cup, and we'll certainly look at everything in the context of that race. And I think all the good, certainly, the CAULFIELD Cup is the best form reference for the Melbourne Cup, so the winner generally has to be an enormous chance, and I'm sure he is. I guess you just have to think that he's going to certainly cop a penalty for that win, so he'll be giving weight to horses like Nom de Jeu and Mad Rush, two of the better closers in the race, who put together, I guess, performances similar to all the good, equivalent to his effort, and won't receive any penalty or any extra weight. So all the good will go into the Melbourne Cup conceding weight to those horses. But on his side is certainly an enormous amount of improvement. There has to be. The horse hasn't had a race for 8 weeks. Hadn't had a race for 8 weeks leading into.
It's not really that unusual for the European type stage, though. That's their go.
It's not, but he must improve.
He will.
He won't sort of
He'll
say
probably
plateau
appreciate
or
the
go
distance.
backwards.
He'll probably appreciate the 3200 also.
He's going to improve. So, but my thing is, my question is, how much does he need to improve to be able to hold off horses like Mad Rush and Nom de Jeu? And I think that may well prove to be a little beyond him. I think the likes of Nom de Jeu and Mad Rush put the writing on the wall for them going forward into the Melbourne Cup. What I'd like to say is certainly, it's great to see Kerrin McEvoy back in the big race winner's stall. I think
that's nice of you, man.
Certainly seeing certainly a win in the CAULFIELD Cup is going to give him the confidence he needs going forward. But
he hasn't looked back since you bagged him.
No,
he's just grown a leg.
So
Kerrin has grown a leg since the Zammit bagging.
It's interesting, but so the two of you think that was a great ride, do you?
But he's just right. He's ridden probably like 10 winners.
Everyone's shrugging their shoulders.
Winning ride's a good ride.
It was a good ride.
It was a good ride.
Actually, he was like 5th or 6th in running.
Oh, okay. So barrier 6, 3 wide the trip.
But he's
fantastic.
He wasn't 3 wide.
Tick. Yes, he was. He was 3 wide the trip from barrier 6.
But Zammit,
mate,
if you know that the horse's history is a horse that actually likes galloping room.
Yeah, and maybe that's the instruction, but 3 wide from barrier 6. Look, the full
race,
kudos for the race goes to the horse. There's, there are articles there in the papers this morning, clamouring to. It's amazing, and that's why it causes such a stir, when the media gets all bags Kerrin McEvoy after all these bad rides, and everyone gets on that bandwagon and says, he's going hopeless and whatever else, and all that pressure comes on the board. But then he wins a few races. Then he wins a few races, sits on a horse 3 wide in a CAULFIELD Cup, and it wins, and all of a sudden he's the best thing since sliced bread again.
No, hang on.
That's the media for you.
Zammit, one thing that you have to concede is that he was a very good rider before he went to Europe, and he won a lot of good races, including a Melbourne Cup, and you don't keep a position with Godolphin for that length of time.
Yeah, I didn't say he was never a good rider. I just stated the facts.
Quality
that the
person.
bloke was riding poorly.
I would agree. He was riding
shocking.
But like we stated before, when you're riding overseas, they're riding a different style, different tempo. You come here to Australia, and it's like it's a smash-up derby here. But they're riding that close to each other. They're clipping hills.
That's all true. But
it's always going to take time.
Remain that he was riding poorly.
Yeah, but it's always going to take time.
Mocked him into form.
Okay.
We'll move on.
I just want to say that all full credit goes to all the good for that performance, because the horse sat 3 deep the entire way. So certainly full credit to him.
It's a good thing in the World Cup then.
Look, from the beaten brigade, I certainly think Mad Rush and Nom de Jeu are the ones to be following. I'm sure the boys will fully elaborate on their performances, but they were the two with the fastest closing last 800s in the race. I think Nom de Jeu marginally, but Mad Rush didn't enjoy as much of an easy passage into the race as Nom de Jeu did. Nom de Jeu had a bit of a checkered passage as well, but Mad Rush was the one who was really troubled, and to pull off the sectionals he did was fantastic. So look, they're certainly the two to look into going forward. Others, that finished behind them, it was extremely disappointing. Barbaricus led in the Australian stayers into third place. Horses like Maldivian, Master O'Reilly, obviously Weekend Hustler, all horses that proved, I think, that certainly the Melbourne Cup isn't going to be a race to be looking for them. I think Maldivian and Weekend Hustler certainly proved they don't get the 2400 metres. Master O'Reilly, it wasn't a bad performance, it was an okay performance, but he showed last year that perhaps the 3200 metres isn't his caper, so I don't know where you go with him. And plenty of other disappointing runs behind them, so for me it's certainly Mad Rush and Nom de Jeu.
What are your thoughts on this, mate?
I thought it was a very strong victory yesterday by All the Good. I think give credit to Dali, Godolphin, for running the horse, picking the right horse. They allegedly bought this horse specifically to race in Australia for our Cups. I think after he won the Ebor, which has been a good form reference for Cups in the past. And racing him in the Caulfield Cup to season him for the Melbourne Cup, I think, and get him used to our pattern of racing, I think that's very wise. I think in terms of the ride yesterday, in my opinion, a winning ride's always a good ride. So he won the race, and he obviously knows the horse and was instructed to ride him that way. Nom de Jeu's effort was fantastic. All that horse wants to do is stay. He proved in the autumn as a 3-year-old that he was one of the premier staying horses, and I thought his effort was full of merit yesterday, and he's going to meet the winner better in the Melbourne Cup.
Even more so, Sermon, considering the fact that during the week he had an elevated temperature for a few days.
Yeah.
And for me, I thought, well, the week leading into the Caulfield Cup, that surely that's going to hinder his prospects.
And he would have only just come to Australia.
Yeah, that's
from
right.
New Zealand,
So I thought he was pushing all uphill. But
it was really good effort, and I think personally, Efficient and Nom de Jeu are the only Australian horses that can win the Melbourne Cup. Well, Australian or New Zealand horses that can win the Melbourne Cup. I think other than that, it's really the internationals that are going to dominate the race, because I just don't have any faith in our stayers. We've talked about this, wax lyrical about it for many weeks now. I think yesterday again proved with a horse like Barbaricus, who albeit was running in that distance for the first time and had run an encouraging race in the Cranbourne Cup, but is not a noted high-class staying horse. No, not at all. And if you look at the efforts of our other horses, Latorio, Red Ruler, Master O'Reilly, they were all fairly one-paced, and they were just comprehensively beaten yesterday. I don't think any of those horses had an excuse. So, really what I take out of this race is that Mad Rush was the best run of the race. He came from last. He had a checkered passage. What I really loved about his run yesterday, more than anything, was after the finishing post. He was the horse that was extending past the finishing post and just wanting to run on, and wanting to do more. He's only had 8 starts prior to yesterday. He's a very inexperienced horse. So to run a 4th like that in a high pressure race was full of merit.
It'd be good to see Kumani's horse win, wouldn't it?
I'd love to see them win.
What are your reasons for that, Simon?
Oh no, look, I actually know the Francesca through friends. Don't know her. Don't know her.
You want to see splashed all over the papers?
No. Look, I don't. All I know is that the media perception of her is all about her looks, which is obvious because she's beautiful. But she's a very good horsewoman in her own right, a very good rider, and everybody that tells me that worked with her is that she's one of the hardest workers going around at the track, and these guys, they are so smart in everything that they do.
The preparation's very good, isn't it?
They've done their homework on our racing. They've chosen the right style of a horse. They've given it the right preparation, and they put our jockeys on. They know what it takes to win our race.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And they don't try and reinvent the wheel. So I think that horse, I was saying to Zamet yesterday, if the horse was anything, I think he's a $4 chance realistically, but on the day you'll probably be able to get $7 or $8, and I think that's luxury. I'll be having a very heavy bet on him, regardless of the barrier. The only other thing I'll say about the race is that this proved beyond any doubt, as I mentioned, Efficient is our only Australian hope, live hope in the race, I believe, in the Melbourne Cup.
It's a shame because he's probably got too much weight.
I don't think
I
so,
won't worry
mate.
about that
I don't
so
think so,
much.
yeah,
I won't
because he
worry
can
about
stay. So the thing with the Melbourne Cup is, and Arvo's mentioned this before, many horses can run 2,400 metres, not many can run 32. And I think that if you can run the 32, you can carry weight. Maccabi Diva showed that. And I think Efficient, at that distance, there's not a lot between him and Maccabi Diva, I personally think. So, but I'll leave the rest to you, Arvo.